we tried to, one, take content and break it up into much smaller pieces. So we had more of a sense of how long a particular lesson should be, that it shouldn't be this long thing that's droning on forever and ever. You know, my first course, I had very long lessons where I would hyperlink out to all this other stuff. And instead of doing that, look at how you can break it into much smaller pieces and then how you can vary it. So there might be a piece of video content, but then there might be a piece of audio content. Then there's going to be some text content. Then there's going to be a PDF file or something like that. So that's one, is just taking something and figuring out how can you take something that might have before been like a 15-minute long just video and take it and break it into potentially even 10 different pieces and switch the type of media that you're using. Then we also ran our videos through H5P so that they would be interactive, which is something we would tell every teacher as like a baseline. You need to be making your material interactive so that people can interact. They can see, did I get the key idea? So you're really identifying what are key points that I want to make here. And then you're going to upload your video into an interactivity platform like H5P, and you're going to add interactive questions to it so that people can answer those questions. And H5P has other things like drag and drop activities, different ways that you can build these little check for understandings into your content.
H5P,
we also,
is that the name of the software?
Yes. Yeah. H5P.
And the way it works is you create a video and then you can stop the video, ask a question, wait for the student to answer the question, and then it continues? Or how does that work?
That's correct. Yeah. So in the instructional technology space, if people are familiar with Edpuzzle or even some of the features in Nearpod where you can add interactive questions, now you can do that also with Screencastify with the Google Chrome extension. All those also allow you to add interactive questions, and typically this was used in the K-12 educational space, but H5P is just a little bit more wide open in that it'll give you an HTML code so you can embed it in different places.
That's interesting. So you can then actually publish that on your course on Teachable, on Kajabi, or
correct.
Thinkific.
Yes.
Are you also doing that for your own courses?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So we need to make sure that lessons are not too long. We need to make sure that there is a variation between videos, PDFs, audio, maybe some quizzes, right?
Yes.
This H5P thing that you just mentioned is really interesting. I'm going to check that out. Anything else that we can do? What about adding live elements, for example?
Yeah, well, before the live piece, I would say also looking at how you can just make the presentation of material more interesting. I'm still pretty mind blown when I see all these pretty boring like PowerPoint presentations. You know, there's really no reason for that. I mean, if you build a presentation in Canva or in a program like Genially, both of those are going to pretty much upgrade the quality of your presentation tenfold because they'll have like a little animation coming in, things like that. So we also took material, and rather than having it just be like a line of text flying in or something that still kind of looks like it, you know, was done in the 80s, we're building presentations so that they have these really cool transitions, not the just kind of typical like text flies in or something. Really cool transitions, animations, things like that. We also edit ours in the same way we do some of our videos so that we're and this takes more time and money for sure, but we're still using screen callouts, for example. So if we're going to show something on a screencast, we're still running it through ScreenFlow, which is the program we use to create our video tutorials. We're adding arrows and zoom ups and things like that. So everything we're talking about it's still very visual. It's still very clear. This is what we're talking about. There's kind of something happening we basically have a rule of thumb, like 30 seconds in a YouTube video. You should never be talking for more than 30 seconds. And we try to take that concept and apply it to online courses as well. And we do things like green screen ourselves on top of the course material and stuff like that, which, I mean, not very many people are doing in the online course space. I still, like I said, see tons of, here's this PowerPoint, and I'm just going to do some audio over it. And I think there are just so many tools available that can help you not do that there's no reason not to.
Yeah. All right. What else? Live elements? Or there's other things that you want to mention before we start talking about the live elements?
Yeah, I mean, so we personally, I think it differs depending on your space. We have experimented with live elements, Q&As, webinars that I will do that where we'll bring other people in.
Yeah.
That has, I think we could completely do away with that and have the same result in terms of people being interested. I don't see that as critical to the success of a program. I do think some mechanism for people to get feedback and converse with one another, which is actually why we're going to be moving into using a different platform. We're going to be moving our courses into Circle, which is a new kind of hybridized version of Slack and Facebook, because we've used Facebook groups and we don't like how you can't really organize the content. But with Slack, it's too much like a business. I mean, it's great for business, but it's not so great for community building because we want things where you can give people badges and give them access to different types of content based on what level they're at and allow them to create profiles. And Circle lets people also post multimedia in the responses so that if you build out, say, a lesson right there, they could post their response, and they can actually like engage with everything in a single platform. So I think that is more important, the ability for people to engage with community and ask for feedback, share work. That is more important than there's this live thing that happens at this particular time. We just have never, for at least in our space, found that is like the differentiator.